Good afternoon, and welcome to Tea with Jess. I'm Jess Montgomery, and I love to join you here every Monday, most Mondays, at 3 p.m. Eastern Time to just share a few thoughts, check in with people, see how we're all doing. So, since it's Tea with Jess, of course, I have my mug of the day, which is the Yellowstone National Park mug that I got with my family like 10 years ago. Let's see, almost 10 years ago, 9 years ago on a trip. Um, it's still, it's all worn off that it said Yellowstone, but it really did say Yellowstone at one time. And but I still like it because it's got that speckled camp mug design. And so it's a very sturdy mug, though. It's much heavier and sturdier than anything I would ever take camping. But not that I go camping a lot, but if I did, I think I'd want melamite or something lighter. Anyway, so that's the mug for today, is my old Yellowstone camp mug. So a couple things I want to tell you about. I'm having such fun with these banners. Look at me. Woo! I want to tell you about Bloom with Tall Poppy Writers. So if you're not already a member of the group, so Bloom with Tall Poppy Writers is a Facebook group. They've relaunched their group site in order to make it public so anybody can see it and join it. And to celebrate that this week, I'm one of like 70 plus authors who are giving away 100 books. So basically just go over to Bloom with Tall Poppy Writers, join the group, scroll through. Different writers have different requirements for entering their giveaway, usually just commenting on the post and tagging somebody that's a friend that you think would like this group as well. And it lasts all week, so you've got till Friday to go through and see all these great giveaways on Bloom with Tall Poppy Writers. And you'll find some great new authors. You'll meet some other reading friends. So that's a lot of fun. So head over to Bloom with Tall Poppy Writers. I'd be remiss if I didn't share that little tidbit with you. And also tomorrow, look at me with my banners. You can join Hank Philippi Ryan and Hannah Mary McKinnon on their wonderful group at First Chapter Fun. They're on Facebook and on Instagram. And I think they're going to be posting to a few other groups, so you might have seen them through that. But go ahead and find them because every Tuesday and Thursday at 12:30 Eastern Time, one or the other of them, with permission, of course, from the authors and publishers, reads the first chapter from an author's book. And I've been very lucky. They've done the Widows, they've done the Hollows, and now they're doing the Stills tomorrow. So I'll be there commenting. So go over and see that. And I want to just share a couple videos with you. They're very quick. Let's see if I can do this. Let's see. Here is a lovely video, and I'll turn the volume up so that I can, hopefully you'll be able to hear the music that goes with it. But yeah, so this is a lovely video that First Chapter Fun made about my book. Let's watch it together. Whoop, gotta add it. Isn't that neat? I mean, it's so beautifully and professionally done, and they're such good readers. And it's more than them simply opening the book and reading the first chapter. There's a lot of, back and forth and with people who are commenting, and it's become a really neat community that if you haven't joined it already, I think you would, I think you would like it. So my time to shine tomorrow is at 12:30, like I said. And I made a little video to promote this that I'd like to share with you. Not nearly as slick as the one that First Chapter Fund created. And by the way, I love the question, which they completely did this all on their own. So it had nothing, I mean, I approved it once they did it, but I didn't provide input. The question, whose side are you on? Which is so fitting, not only for Prohibition, but for that era. Especially in unionization, whose side are you on? Was a song that was kind of used to rally workers, to decide if they wanted to stand up for themselves through unions or not. So I just thought it was really neat that they kind of tapped into that as well. So anyway, let's see here.
And on Tuesday, March 30th, on First Chapter Fun, Hank and Hannah are reading from my third novel in my kinship series, The Stills. 5 fascinating things about the Stills: asthma cigarettes, serpent handling, a major snowstorm, prohibition, and dual narrators who seem like they're worlds apart but are motivated by the same core issues. Hope you'll join us. Thank you.
I gotta say, it's a little weird to watch yourself give in a video. But yeah, asthma cigarettes, serpent handling, all very interesting parts of and the winter storm. So all those 5 things that are from my book, I think are kind of interesting. And we're nearing the end of March. So that means we're nearing the end of Women's History Month. Yes, Amy made a comment. That's a good video. Yes, it definitely was. They did a great job. It's like a book trailer, and they do this for every book. It's just amazing. Anyway, so we're nearing the end of March, and it's Women's History Month, and a woman who makes a brief appearance in a cameo appearance, really, but was a big part of Prohibition history in the Stills, is a woman named Mabel Walker Willebrandt. And I wrote an essay for History Reader. Should have made a banner for History Reader, but I didn't. Anyway, for History Reader, which is a great site. You can find it. It's for the imprint of history books, mostly and historically based novels, for St. Martin's Press. So you can find History Reader on Facebook, or just Google History Reader and you'll find their site. And they have these wonderful articles that are, background to novels or to nonfiction books. And you can just find these little fascinating tidbits of history. So I was really delighted that I was asked to write a piece for them. And I wrote about Mabel Walker Willebrandt. And you know what? I actually wrote it for Criminal Element, not History Reader. But go find Criminal Element and follow them too. Both are great sources that are put out by St. Martin's Press as a way for you to learn about background to books, like I was saying, and these fascinating tidbits. So anyway, Mabel Walker Willebrandt, that's how she looked. Isn't she quite a lovely, interesting looking woman? So I'm going to read to you part of this essay. It's not super long, just so you get a little sense of who she is, because like I said, she makes a cameo appearance in the Stills. So the Bureau of Prohibition was preceded by the Prohibition Unit of the Bureau of Internal Revenue in the U.S. Department of Treasury. You understand where the word bureaucracy comes from, right? Originally tasked with collecting taxes and similar funds from the sale of alcohol. But with the 18th Amendment in 1919, banning the manufacture, sale, and transportation of alcoholic beverages, and the Volstead Act, setting up rules for enforcing the amendment, the function of collecting taxes fell to the wayside. There were few resources for the Prohibition unit, however, to serve as enforcers. Finally, in 1927, the unit spun off into a separate bureau. The bureau fell under the domain of U.S. Assistant Attorney General Mabel Walker Willebrand. This is like history show and tell. Who was the second woman to receive an appointment to Assistant Attorney General. The first served only a few months, and the first to serve an extended term from 1921 to 1929. So she served for 8 years. Now, Willebrand was personally opposed to prohibition. The law was unpopular, and the numerous loopholes in the Volstead Act made it hard to enforce. And it should be noted that prohibition has a complex history, far too complex to explore here. But suffice it to say, the law was often winked at, and the issue of being a wet versus a dry was used as a proxy for other issues. But Willebrand, the highest ranking woman in federal government in her day, believed in the rule of law. She believed laws should be enforced fully and fairly, and if society did not like a law, well then, rather than flouting the law should be changed through established procedures. Her virtuous view and insistence on enforcing the law did not win her a lot of friends in the government or in the media. She was nicknamed Mrs. Firebrand, particularly taunting given that she was divorced, and Deborah of the Dries, and Prohibition Portia. Though she had many law enforcement successes, they occurred almost always without much internal government support, and in spite of indifference or roadblocks put in her way of enforcing the very law she was tasked to uphold. In real life, Willebrand would occasionally give speeches about the importance of enforcing prohibition, and certainly her speaking engagements could easily have taken her to Westerville, Ohio, near Columbus, and just north of my fictional kinship, as Westerville was the home of the Anti-Saloon League, an organization which was at the forefront of anti-alcohol legislation and education and propaganda. What's more, in real life, Willebrand handed up the prosecution of Cincinnati bootlegger and crime kingpin George Remus, who happens to be the inspiration for George Vogel, Lily's nemesis and the Kinship series' overarching villain. In the stills, with Prohibition at the forefront and Lily going head-to-head with George Vogel, how could I resist bringing in Willebrand for a cameo? Because they could have met, I did not resist. And I loved putting Lily and Willebrand, two trailblazing, strong women, yet from such different backgrounds, in the scene together. So there's a little bit about Mabel Walker Willebrand, and you can read the whole essay, find out what happened to her later in life if you go to Criminal Element and find the essay there. And I'll try to remember to put a little link in the comments section later today. It also, the essay also provides links to other sources that have a lot more detail about Mabel. I just think she's a fascinating character for her era, for sure. And for the fact that, you know, she personally didn't care for the law of prohibition, but it was her sworn duty to uphold the rule of law, and so she did. So it's a little more complex than that, but she's a fascinating character. So I hope you take a look at that essay, and I hope you enjoy it. And don't forget, visit Bloom with Tall Poppy Writers for the wonderful giveaway going all week long, not just my 2 books, but 98 other books. So there are a lot of opportunities to win new books, but more importantly, perhaps find out about other writers' books and add to your reading stack and your reading list. And I hope you'll join Hank Philippi Ryan and Hannah Marie McKinnon and myself tomorrow. I'll be there as an observer along with other people, but for their wonderful reading, because they always do a great job, of the opening to the stills. Now, if you have read the stills, thank you. If you have read it and you've enjoyed it, or just want to share your opinion about it, please consider leaving a review on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Goodreads, BookBub, any of the sources where you like to read other people's reviews or give ratings. And just you can just give a rating or you can leave a quick review. Either one would be greatly appreciated. And if you don't have time for that, that's fine too. I appreciate you being here with me each Monday and for hopefully getting a chance to read some of my work and sharing this time with me. So, as Nana says in all the books in kinship, life is hard. Have tea. So, I will see you next week and take care. Thank you for being here.